You can save tens of thousands of dollars and still get your dream home. Sounds crazy, right? Well, I'm going to show you exactly how mobile manufactured homes are doing just that and why they might be better than stick-built homes today. Let's get into it.
Tell me you can't see yourself living here. This island is the most impressive thing in the whole house. This is bigger than some people's kitchens.
Yes, these look just like ours. They still brand new.
They have 3 ovens.
Have you seen the inside of a mobile manufactured home in the last, 5 years? They don't look like they did 10, 20 years ago. You want hardwood floors? Sure, you can get that. You want custom cabinetry? You can get that too. Anything you can imagine in a traditional stick-built home, you can get in a mobile manufactured home. And cost-wise, you're looking at $85 per square foot against $176 per square foot for a traditional stick-built home. And price per square foot, that's going to be a lot higher in a lot of other states. But across the board, for manufactured homes in most states, you're looking at the starting price at $88 per square foot. And of course, anything you add to your mobile manufactured home, that is going to increase the price per square foot. It's up to you how much you're willing to spend and how much those upgrades are really important to you. Now, most mobile manufactured homes come in 3 different ways. You get your single wide, your double wide, and your triple wide. And now they even come as a 2-story. I've seen that recently as well. If you're wanting to save the most, of course, you're probably going to want to go with the single wide, but you can do so many things with a single wide, and it's going to be a heck of a lot bigger than in your typical apartment, even with a mortgage payment, taxes, insurance, and your land payment. Now, if you're living in a park, there's going to be a rental payment for your park. I suggest you always go with trying to find yourself your own piece of land. So that way you can have one payment on all of that. It will still save you a whole lot of money. And even with today's interest rates the way they are, if you're going with the smallest one, you'll be spending less than $1,000 a month. Now, your homeowner's insurance payments as well on a new manufactured home are going to be a lot less than a brand new house. And your property taxes on a brand new manufactured home is going to be a lot less than a traditional stick-built home. All these things will bring down your monthly payments, and it'll be a home that you own. Now, you heard me saying mobile manufactured home, and that's because most of the time, most people don't understand the difference between a mobile home and a manufactured home. So anything that was built before 1976 is going to be referred to as a mobile home. If you see anything that was built after 1976, that is considered a manufactured home. And if you're buying anything new today, that is a HUD certified manufactured home. The reason I keep saying mobile manufactured is because of the appearance of those homes. They're pretty much the same as you would have seen in 1976 with the shape of them. But just know that the building codes that those were built to before 1976 are not near as high as they are today. They've come up with so many different ways to make these homes more secure. They have wind strapping systems and tie down. They have stricter building codes. They've advanced on their manufacturing techniques. At a lot of the factories that build these manufactured homes, they have their own third-party review that will start looking at these manufactured homes before they even hit the lot. Not all of them do this, but several of them do. And you can ask them when you go and look at their homes to see what kind of assurances they can give you that their product is a good product for you. A lot of these homes are built with the same building materials that you would with traditional stick-built housing. And even some of the ways they construct these homes, it just so happens they happen to be built in a factory. And they may not look like the traditional stick-built home, but that doesn't mean that it can't be a home that you could live in a lot less expensively. And again, it's a heck of a lot cheaper than rent. One of my favorite things about mobile manufactured homes, it's very similar to why I love modular homes as well, is because they are built in a factory.
Site construction out in the elements, you're building it outside and in. You got to get that envelope done because the rain is just penetrating on the floor decking and all the lumber as you're building out there. It's one of the beauties of factory-built housing is we bring in kiln-dried lumber, and all of it's dry from the beginning and stays dry through the end of the process.
And just think about it. Whenever you go onto a traditional stick-built work site, what do you see? You see building materials laying out in all sorts of weather conditions. Some homes will get framed and it will take them months before they ever start putting up drywall. Now it's been exposed to all the weather conditions out there. To me, that's just a recipe for mold intrusion, especially living in the South. When they're building those, they're in an air-conditioned factory, building one right after another. So it's the same job that they're doing time after time again. If it's the group of people that are putting in the 2x4s, they're putting the 2x4s in exactly the same way he saw the day before. So there is that consistency constantly down the line. Manufacturing makes it a lot easier and more productive to get these homes built faster, but that is a quality that you do not get with stick-built homes because of the fact they're outside. And I know you've probably seen these videos out on YouTube. The quality of new home construction is not the same as it used to be.
Let me show you what I'm looking at. Yeah. And they did some really Really nice work right there. Backflow valve. It should be attached to the house. Also missing caps right here. Run through. Of course, they don't care about that paint. They don't care. Beyond that, we have some long cracks in the stucco. Yeah, how you like that? That's that antique look for your new house. Yeah, that's what that is. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we already got this going on. What I forgot to mention, my doorbell's not ding donging. It's just donging. Looking at the box, of course, it's supposed to be up there. Yeah, of course, that ain't right.
But now it is being exposed even more. You can see all these home inspectors that are looking at the top names in home construction. And those new home builders are very leery of getting those fixed.
Home builder Taylor Morrison wanted Side Porter to stop posting any videos to social media about its homes, claiming his videos violated state standards, but the board disagreed, opting for a letter of concern for Porter instead of discipline.
So just because you think that you're buying something brand new and it's a traditional stick-built home, that doesn't necessarily you're going to be getting quality. Mobile homes do have to go through a litany of tests before they're ever put out onto the road. All the electrical work has to be checked. All the plumbing has to be checked before it ever leaves the factory. And not only that, those homes are traveling down the road at over 80 miles an hour, and they're still held up by the time that it gets to the location. I don't know if I trust many stick-built homes to make it there in one piece after it's gone down the road at 80 miles an hour. Now, you'll hear some people say that manufactured homes have really cheap windows and doors, and they're made with really thin walls. And yes, with older manufactured homes, that is the case, but they have improved that over the years. The thing that I will say is the negative on that is usually the sizes of those are not like a standard size window or a standard size door. But it's not hard to replace those items, but a lot of it you have to order, so you have to wait time. So that kind of sucks. I just want to be honest with you. The quality of them is still there. They are a very nice, secure, safe home that will save you tens of thousands of dollars. Now, every time I do a video about mobile manufactured homes, I always have some knucklehead that says, oh, they're tornado magnets. They think they're so funny. Well, let me just explain to you that over the years, yes, it did seem like whenever you saw a tornado that came through an area, what would they show is a mobile home park that was toppled over. It makes for really good coverage on their news, and it just perpetuates this theory that tornadoes are gravitating towards it. Well, they've improved the construction of these homes immensely. And even though, somebody says, oh, they're a tornado magnet, that's just silly. I mean, honestly, a lot of news coverage is showing homes that are a lot older. And they have now, over the years, created much better strapping systems to hold these homes in place. Not only that, they do have tie downs and anchors. And depending on where you live, they have specific ways that they are building these homes in certain wind zones. So you'll be in wind zone 1, 2, or 3. And that home will be designed specifically for that wind zone in that area. You can't buy a home that was designed for wind zone 1 and put it in wind zone 3. If you're trying to buy a brand new one, they're not going to sell you one that isn't in the right wind zone for your specific area. That doesn't mean you shouldn't take precautions if there's inclement weather coming your direction. That's why you see people that live in areas that do have inclement weather or frequent tornadoes, they'll have something like a separate storm shelter. That doesn't matter if it's stick-built or a mobile home. I've heard other people say that if there's a fire, that they'll go up like a matchstick and that they're super flammable. Again, when people have this theory in their head, it's because of what they had seen in years past. The building materials that you see in mobile manufactured homes are very similar to you see in stick-built construction. Many of them are built with fire-resistant materials, and many of the newer models have advanced fire safety features. Another bonus about mobile manufactured homes, a lot of the mortgage packages that are offered to you, they're less than 30 years. So you can have that home paid off in like 21 years instead of 30 years. And you can finance a manufactured home just like you can with any house you see out on the market. You can get an FHA loan. You can get a VA loan. You can get a rural development loan. And you can get a conventional loan. Any way that you're able to finance a traditional home, you're going to be able to finance it with a mobile manufactured home. The loan terms will look different, but that also can mean that you could pay this home off even faster. Just one more way, mobile homes are better than stick-built homes. To qualify for a manufactured home is no different than it would be for a traditional home. They're still going to look at your credit credit for it. They're still going to make sure that you're working. They're going to also look at your debt to income ratio. All these things factor in. I will tell you that mobile manufactured homes do have a slightly higher interest rate, and that's going to depend a lot on those things that I mentioned earlier. So just be aware of that. Oh, this is one thing you probably didn't consider if you were thinking about this. If you're deciding on a brand new house, most likely that brand new neighborhood that you're moving into has an HOA. If you're buying your own piece of land, it's not going to have an HOA, most likely. I know a lot of you have told me out there how much you can't stand HOAs.
Oh, yay, homeowners association.
And if you're looking at brand new houses, I can guarantee you that it is going to be in an HOA. And you know, another bonus of living in a manufactured home, a lot of times you're not having to live in a neighborhood. But in a lot of areas where you see mobile manufactured homes out in the wild, I'll say, you'll see a lot of them sit on big pieces of acreage. When you're saving that much money on a house, you'll have a lot more leeway to put into the piece of land that you build it on. And if this isn't your dream home, I get it, but it is a great way to start. So what can happen for you in the future is that you've paid off this house in 20 years. You've saved so much money on having such a low payment. Now you have saved that last 20 years for a down payment for the dream home that you've always wanted. Now you could take that money and go ahead and purchase your next dream house after you've sold your manufactured home, or you could build your dream house on that piece of land that you own and then keep the manufactured home in the back and use that as like a game room or a mother-in-law suite. Or even better yet, you could take that piece of property that you have with your mobile manufactured home and turn that into an income producing property because it's paid off. And now you can make that into a rental, and then it could help you pay for your next house as well. So not only do you have money saved for your down payment because you've been saving for the last 20 years, you now have an income producing property that's bringing in money to help pay your current mortgage. So when people are telling you this is a bad decision for you to buy a mobile manufactured home, think of the bigger picture in the long run. Now, I'd be a real a-hole if I didn't tell you there are some downsides of manufactured housing. If you are looking at manufactured homes and you're thinking, well, I can't afford a piece of land right now, and I probably want to move my new manufactured home into a park, I would caution you on this. And the only reason I'm saying this is I understand that that payment is going to be very cheap for you now, but that doesn't mean that they can't increase that payment for that piece of land in the future as many times as they want within a year. Private equity firms have been buying up manufactured home parks throughout the United States, and that's why I am trying to encourage you to buy a piece of land. Not all areas are going to allow for manufactured housing. You're going to have to check the zoning in that specific area. But it's pretty easy in a lot of areas because they already have it written there that it's approved for mobile manufactured housing or modular housing. Now, if you see the listing and it says that it allows for modular construction, that doesn't mean it's going to allow for manufactured construction. That is two totally separate things. Another thing you should be aware of is because you purchase that at price per square foot cheaper than a traditional stick-built home, it will not increase in value at the same rate as a traditional stick-built home. That doesn't mean that it's worthless. That just means that your neighbor who has a traditional stick-built house that got $30,000 equity over the last 2 years, you probably maybe got $10,000 equity. And it wasn't just because you got equity in the land. Some people will say, oh, only the land has value, the house has no value. That's horse pucky. It just didn't give you as much equity as it would for a traditional stick-built home. Now, you still have to take care of this house over the next 10 years or 20 years that you decide to keep it, especially if you plan on selling it in the future. Any kind of upgrades you add to the house, like skirting, fencing, decks, will always make your house more sellable and more appealing to future home buyers. Don't go cheap on your roofing materials and make sure you put down a nice driveway. All these features always make your house more appealing to future home buyers if you do plan on selling in the future. But if you plan on renting it out in the future, that extra money you put in may not make a big difference. Believe it or not, mobile homes do rent out really well. Some of the biggest investors that I know in our area, they own many, many, many mobile homes. And they're not in mobile home parks. They're all over the place. Oh, another thing you should be aware of, even though they call them mobile manufactured homes or mobile homes, it doesn't really mean that they're mobile. If you had the intention of purchasing one and deciding to put it in another location in the future, if you have a mortgage on it, they're not going to allow you to do that unless you're in a park and they're requiring you to move it. Once it's been moved twice, meaning one time it went to the factory and then it was moved to another location, it can never have a mortgage on it again. So if you're planning on selling that in the future, it's going to be an issue, especially if the home buyer needs to have a mortgage in order to purchase it. Not only that, to move a manufactured home, it costs a lot of money, especially if you're planning on going hundreds of miles down the road with it after it had already been moved once. We're talking $20,000, $30,000, $40,000. So just be aware aware of it, even though they call it mobile manufactured. It's not exactly mobile. Now, I want you to just take a step back before you sign on anything and start looking in the MLS. You'd be surprised. There are people that are trying to sell their mobile manufactured homes, and it will save you a ton of headache because of the fact that you don't have to get the utilities out there. You already know that it has internet, and you can gauge out exactly how much the property taxes in the area are going to be and how much home insurance is going to be. And the beauty of it all, you can still get yourself a 30-year fixed rate mortgage if you wanted to. And even though I said that was the best part, no, really the best part of that is you're going to be saving yourself tens of thousands of dollars in comparison to buying a brand new home. So are you thinking about it? Let me know in the comments section below. To watch more videos about mobile manufactured homes, you're going to be watching these videos right here. My name is Kristina Smallhorn, and I tell you all this because everybody deserves an affordable home.